DC and Marvel, despite being rivals, believe it or not, they recognize each other's qualities and competence. And the proof of this is in the fact that both DC and Marvel have several similar characters. This means that the two companies draw inspiration for their creations from each other. The problem sometimes is that some characters are simply not inspired by others. Some become direct copies. Many times it even seems like they simply changed some details in the character just to avoid having to go to court. And since you guys loved the first part and asked for more, I had no choice but to follow your orders. You guys run this channel for sure. So for those who asked, here it is, the second part of the biggest copycats between Marvel and DC. Let's begin. Thanos. I know this might come as a disappointment to Marvel fans, especially those who are die-hard Thanos fans. But there's no denying it. Thanos was clearly inspired by DC's Darkseid. Just by looking at the appearance of each character, it's easy to see a huge resemblance between them. Their costumes are quite similar, and both are galactic supervillains who seek to eradicate life from the universe. Darkseid seeks to achieve this through the anti-life equation, while Thanos aims to do so using the Infinity Stones. Darkseid made his comic debut in 1970, which means he appeared 3 years before Thanos. But don't be too disheartened, because even though Darkseid came first in the comics, Thanos was the first to appear in the cinema, and in my humble opinion, the cinematic version of Thanos is far superior to Darkseid's cinematic portrayal. Doctor Strange. I honestly never expected to put Doctor Strange on this list. I really didn't know he was heavily inspired by a DC character. But after examining the facts, I simply can't deny it. His appearance, the hand gestures he uses to cast spells, his powers, and magical artifacts all indicate that Doctor Strange was inspired by DC's Dr. Fate. Also, both characters have been considered the most powerful magicians in their respective universes. Dr. Fate first appeared in comics in 1940, while Doctor Strange made his debut in 1963. But that doesn't change the fact that Doctor Strange remains cooler and more popular between the two characters. Ant-Man. This is another case where the copy became more popular than the original, obviously thanks to his recent appearances in the MCU. This case is also peculiar, because the Atom character has been in comics since 1940. However, until 1961, the Atom character didn't have much in common with the Ant-Man character we know today. The Atom character only began to exhibit his characteristic powers in 1961. On the other hand, Ant-Man debuted in comics in 1962, just 4 months after the new version of Atom made its debut. You might think that there's very little difference in the debut times of these characters. Perhaps that's true. Indeed, it doesn't seem like there was enough time for Ant-Man's writers to be inspired by the Atom and launch a story about him in just 4 months. But their similarities are undeniable. Both characters have the power to alter their size at will, possess advanced suits or technologies that enable them to control their size changes, and are scientists or researchers in their respective storylines. Aquaman. When you think of a superhero whose powers are based on water, the first character that comes to mind is Aquaman, right? I believe it is because he's the first character I think of when I think of water. I know it probably ruins the magic of Aquaman a bit, but you already know what I'm going to say. Aquaman, despite being much more famous, was actually heavily inspired by Marvel's Namor. It's weird to think of Aquaman as a copy of someone else, but it's true. Both characters are rulers of underwater realms, with Aquaman reigning over Atlantis and Namor ruling the kingdom of Atlantis in Marvel's universe. Their status as kings of the seas forms a fundamental similarity. Arthur Curry, typically portrayed as the son of a human lighthouse keeper and an Atlantean queen, shares a similar backstory with Namor, who is often depicted as the offspring of a human sea captain and an Atlantean princess. Both Aquaman and Namor possess superhuman strength and agility, allowing them to survive and thrive in the ocean depths. They can also communicate telepathically with sea creatures, commanding them to do their bidding. Hawkeye. Some of you already mentioned this case in the comments on the first part. Just looking at the main concept of Hawkeye, we can already see the main similarity between him and Green Arrow. Although they have different backgrounds, the similarities between the characters are undeniable. Both Clint Barton and Oliver Queen are highly skilled archers, known for their precision and accuracy with a bow and arrow. Neither character possesses superhuman abilities. They rely on their physical prowess, combat skills, and mastery of archery in their crime-fighting endeavors. Both characters use a variety of specialized arrows and gadgets to aid them in battle, such as explosive arrows, grappling hook arrows, and smoke arrows. There's a 21-year difference between Hawkeye's first appearance in 1962 and Green Arrow's debut in 1941, so it's undeniable that Green Arrow came first. Zatanna. The formula used by both DC and Marvel back then was if a character became popular, then the rival company has to immediately create their own version of that character. It's no wonder that DC, as soon as they knew about Wanda Maximoff, wanted to make their version of her. After all, Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, one of the most badass, and one of the most charismatic as well. Scarlet Witch and Zatanna share several similarities, primarily in their mystical abilities and their roles as powerful sorceresses within their respective comic book universes. Both characters are skilled practitioners of magic, capable of manipulating mystical energies to cast spells, create illusions, and manipulate reality itself. Their magical abilities encompass a wide range of powers, including telekinesis, energy manipulation, astral projection, and reality warping. They both come from families with deep ties to magic and have faced significant personal struggles and ethical dilemmas related to their magical abilities. Scarlet Witch debuted in March 1964, while Zatanna appeared 8 months later in November of the same year. Quicksilver. Everyone already knew about this one. Everyone already knows that Quicksilver was clearly inspired by the Flash. And in this case, Quicksilver was actually a good bet by Marvel, because the character, although not as popular as the Flash, became quite popular, especially after the X-Men movies. In fact, for me, the X-Men's Quicksilver has the best running scene of all live-action series and movies. But despite that, the Flash remains the best character between the two and also the fastest, obviously. Their similarities lie in their incredible speed, agility, reflexes, and quick thinking. Both characters are known for their lightning-fast speeds and have been depicted as nimble and quick-witted. There's a 22-year difference between the Flash's first appearance and Quicksilver's debut in comics. So, it's undeniable that the Flash is the original. When we are kids, we actually really like seeing similar characters in both DC and Marvel. But as we get older, we tend to see this more as a competition. It becomes more of a competition to see who has the best characters and stories. I honestly think we should just enjoy both and stop with the hate between both fandoms. But anyway, this is just my opinion. Leave me yours in the comments. When I started this channel in the beginning of the year, I never expected that what is happening right now would be possible. You know how hard it is to grow a channel on YouTube when you were starting out. But a few very special people made the impossible for me possible. The channel already has almost 700 subscribers. I never imagined I would say this after just 2 months of having the channel. But it's true. My goal for this year was to reach 1,000 subscribers. And with your help, I don't have any doubts that we will be able to accomplish that. Your subscription will make all the difference to me. And you will definitely become a very special subscriber for me in the community of this channel. Because without you, the growth of this channel and my goal are impossible to accomplish. Thank you in advance. Hope to see you in this next video that is showing up right now. See you there.